This is Madden 19. I'm the coach. You're locked into the NFL on EA Sports. Up next, we've got what ought to be a great matchup between the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings. I'll be back with you again with scores around the league at halftime. But kickoff right around the corner. And standing by to call the action, here are Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis.
And we find ourselves at the stadium that played host to Super Bowl 52, the wondrous U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. The scene a few moments ago, here it is. It's unlike any other in sport as both teams made their way out of the tunnel. These folks are fired up as their guys are ready to do battle between the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings. Hi again, everyone. Brandon Gaudin alongside Charles Davis. And, Charles, you look at this Vikings ball club, and I don't think from what we saw down on the field before the game there's any doubt they're ready to roll.
They pass the eye test, don't they? This team looks fired up and ready to play.
Meanwhile, for the visiting Packers, an early season tilt. And when it's an early season tilt, should be ready to roll.
Well, let's face it, the aches and pains haven't really set in yet, and both teams eyeing a really good start to get things going.
Now a first carry from Giovanni Bernard. And he'll be brought down somewhat awkwardly here, and a late flag as well. I think this one's going to be a face mask.
Face mask. Defense.
Officials so cognizant of that call nowadays, but that one looked pretty easy.
Yeah, you're right. They took out of their hands having to wonder whether it's a 5-yard or a 15-yard inadvertent or not. Now, it's a lot easier. You see it, you call it.
Rodgers gives this to Jamal Williams. And he'll take this one up close to about the 45. 2 yards on the carry there, and it'll be second down. And the big boys up front in the trenches. What do you think of the O-line, Charles?
I love them because this is a group that's so cohesive. They know what the man next to them is going to do at all times, and they operate as a terrific unit.
Rodgers to throw on second down. Under a heavy rush, and down he goes. Daniil Hunter in there to bring him down for a loss of 7. And they weren't in zone coverage, they were in man, and each man did his job.
And that looked like vintage, old-school coverage, didn't it? Man coverage reminded me of an old Raiders team. They had a Hall of Famer at one corner and a Defensive Player of the Year at the other, and they just locked people down.
So a jump there defensively.
And it's a killer. Watch the football. Don't move across the line of scrimmage until the ball moves.
On play action, now Rodgers. Throwing right, and that's complete. And they'll wind up getting this one all the way down inside the 20. A big gain of 38 there on third down.
There will always be a place for methodically marching the ball downfield. But when you can pick it up in big chunks and strike like that and have explosive plays, that's often the difference in winning and losing.
And he's going to take it in. Touchdown, Packers. Davante Adams from 19 yards away. And the Packers have taken the early lead. Excellent start there. First drive of the season. Big-time success, putting it in the end zone.
And remember, that was done without any real map of how to do it. In other words, the deeper you get into the season, you get game film to work off of, tendencies to work off of. The first drive of the season, things can be entirely different than what you've seen in the past. It's a really good job of execution by them.
And now here's Ross. And he's up across the 25 and down at the 28-yard line. So here's the Viking offense making their way out. They'll have Lamar Jackson calling the shots, the former Heisman Trophy winner from Louisville.
And what a sophomore season he had for the Cardinals. Pretty much swept every major quarterback award, including the Heisman Trophy. And we spend a lot of time talking about his legs. Formidable. He can run the ball like few others. But the key to everything for him is his ability to be accurate from the pocket.
Detroit! Detroit! Set! Blue 90! Blue 90! Gone! 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 Gone!
On 1st and 10, it's Jackson. Packer pressure, and down he goes.
And so much for that great field position to start the game. Now they're way behind the sticks. Can't wait to see what their second down call is going to look like now.
On 2nd down, here's Jackson. Now the pressure comes, and he goes down. Just inside the 10, back at the 9. Clay Matthews in there to get him. And this pass rush strong now. That sacks on back-to-back plays.
Now let's go! Green 39! Green 39!
Here's Jackson on 3rd and long. He's going to fire one deep over the middle. He's got him in. Complete. And they do finally get him down, but not before he reaches the 41. A big play for the Vikings on 3rd down. 49 yards.
Now that play will end up on the highlights, and you'll see it all over the place. But what you won't see, the offensive line that bought the extra time, that allowed for the big completion downfield, those guys made that play possible.
Leopard! Leopard!
Barkley, toss play left. And down inside the 35, he goes to the 32-yard line. Give him 9 on the carry that time, and they're set up with a 2nd and 1.
A nice run here early on. It doesn't take a great play caller to realize you want to establish a guy of his caliber with runs like this early, because they'll pay dividends as the game progresses.
On 2nd down, here's Barkley. Oh, a nice spin. And he'll be brought down at the 27-yard line. 5 yards is the pickup there as that extends this drive. A couple of nice carries back-to-back here, establishing the ground game a bit.
Yeah, these aren't bare-bones runs now. I mean, they're getting substantial yardage, the kind of yards you're looking for, right? Let's go ahead and use a cliche. Stay ahead of the change, right? 5 or more yards each time, that's what you're looking for in setting the tone and getting your offensive line going.
Good sign on the opening drive. Give him 10 yards on that one, and that'll earn him a fresh set of downs.
I've yet to meet a wide receiver who likes to block more than catching the football. But the best ones understand that that's how they'll actually get more passes thrown to them if they help in the run game. And anytime you get a run of that yardage, that means the wide receivers did help. They get down to what a lot of people call the 2nd level, the linebackers, or the 3rd level where the defensive backs are, and they get out in front and put their bodies out there and create more space for their runners to gain the yardage.
So 1 quarter in the books on NFL kickoff weekend. 7-0 is our score. They're looking at a 2nd and short yardage to start things out.
Here we go now. 3-19! 3-19!
Now they'll run it on the toss. And he tried to bounce it outside, but they'll stop him behind the line. And they'll lose a yard that time, and that's going to lead to a 3rd down.
We all have habits. We can be somewhat predictable, and you know me pretty well on 2nd down and short. What I like to say?
Play action.
Yeah, without a doubt. I thought that was a great spot to call it. Instead, didn't go their way, did it?
No, defense sold out for the run. Worked out well. That'll make it 4th down after a loss of 1.
Well, that didn't appear to be a run blitz. He just darted in once he saw the run develop. That appeared to be a case of see ball, get ball.
The kick by Carlson is good. And they are on the board, but still trailing. It's 7-3. So in the end, they had the ball for 10 plays, but the drive gets them 3, not 6.
Is it okay if I give credit to both sides on this one?
Absolutely.
All right, let's start defensively. They hung in there. 10-play drive. But they stiffened when they got close to the goal line. Made them kick a field goal. And for the offense, 10-play drive. They might be a little disappointed they got a field goal, but they moved the ball down the field with dispatch and came away with points.
And Green Bay getting ready to go as they take the field. They had the touchdown on the opening drive of the ball game. It was countered by just a field goal. So, hey, if your guys can do that for 4 quarters, you're in good shape.
Yeah, it is a team game, so that's just good complimentary football. But, you know, I know I'm no brainiac, If you trade sixes for threes, things are going to work out in your favor.
And he's got it past the 30 before he's hit and dropped. First down yardage on the first play of the drive. Give him 14.
Coming in, he really liked his chance of having a big year based on a terrific offseason. And runs like that on opening weekend show that he's right.
Now a play fake here on first down. He couldn't quite hold it. Got hit. Ball pops out. Incomplete.
That would have been a great catch, but it's real difficult to hold on to it because it was contested all the way. Would have been a great play if he'd been able to haul that one in.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And this time he's going backwards. So after the no gain on the last attempt, here they get him behind the line.
That goes down as a loss against his rushing stats. But really, should he have to absorb that one? He had no chance on that play before they overwhelmed him.
Pretty much on top of him before he could take his first step. Pressure coming from the Vikings, and they get there and bring him down. Daniil Hunter in there to get him his second sack now of the afternoon.
Well, that's the second time he's been sacked so far in the first half, and if they have designs on having a big year, on going anywhere, they've got to find a way to keep him upright so they can throw the football.
12 yards on the return that time, and out will come the offense as they take over. Now the Vikings offense gets set to take over here. And they had 3 points last time, but they didn't want 3 points because they were well within range of scoring a touchdown. We'll see if they can do better now.
I'm with you on that one. Let's just go ahead and be frank about the whole thing. The only one happy about the 3-point?
The kicker.
Exactly. He put it through the post. That's going to help him at contract time. But that offense, they're thinking, let's get in the end zone this time.
I don't know if that helped him at contract time. You could have kicked that one through.
I don't know about that.
Toe bash.
I don't know about that. Super toe.
So first and 10 now from the 30.
Right, here we go. Blue 90. Blue 90.
Throwing on first down, it's Jackson. He's got it complete to Stephon Diggs. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. The drive starting with a first down, 11 yards on that pickup.
You can see the time and effort and thought that they put into their passing game because it was evident right there. It looks like a simple pitch and catch, but you and I both know that they have planned for this and worked hard to make it happen.
Lets it fly for... That's caught at the 25. And he takes it down deep into Green Bay territory. A big play there for Minnesota. 42 yards. We remind you that coming up in 2 minutes, we'll again head down to visit with Jonathan Coachman in Orlando, back for another year. He'll have scores from around the NFL here on this opening weekend. Here's Jackson to throw, and that is out of the back of the end zone, incomplete.
It's been my observation there's been a nice variety of play calling defensively. You and I often talk about an offense's ability to keep a defense off balance with what they're doing. I think the converse has been true in this game.
Yeah, I think you're right. They seem to have gone off tendency quite a bit, but only the second quarter, a lot of time to change things. Again on 2nd and 10, it's Jackson. Buying time to his left. Touchdown, Minnesota. Well, the defensive coverage was good, so good he just decided to make a play of his own, and it worked out.
Yeah, you often wonder if they think to themselves, was the coverage too good to allow him to run the football? I think you'd rather take your chances with him doing exactly that, and he beat him on that play all the way to the end zone.
Now for the extra point, Daniel Carlson. Extra point by Carlson, up and good. And the lead is now 10-7. Carlson now to kick this one away. This will be taken in at the 1. The Packer offense now ready to get back onto the field. And on the last go-around, they really couldn't get anything going.
They had to punt from deep inside their own territory, which means they're going to lose the field position battle as a general rule. What they're looking for now is a little more consistency, move the ball at least a few times on offense, get a couple of first downs, and hopefully flip the field.
Yeah, just something to build off of. That's what they're looking for here. First down yardage on the first play of the drive, 14 yards. On 1st and 10, here's Rodgers. And Rodgers is going to go down. He's sacked. Daniil Hunter getting him once again, his 3rd sack of the afternoon. On 2nd down, here's Rodgers. And he will find his man on the outside. And he'll get it up near the 35, right at the 34 here. That catch good for only a yard, and it'll be 3rd down.
And when you're playing a quarterback with some experience and some moxie, you enter the danger zone when you decide to blitz him, because if he's able to diagnose as he did on that play, he can hurt you downfield.
He reads defenses so well, doesn't he?
He really does, and the best part about that play for him, I don't think that was his primary target.
I don't think so either.
I think he had the read, figured out where the blitz was coming from, and went to a secondary target for a really nice game.
Oh, boy, he fielded it right on the goal line. A big boot that time. 57 yards, the official distance. And the Vikings will be backed up deep to begin their drive as they take over 1st and 10. The Vikings offense now heading out to take over. And we'll see how this is played. Offensively, they've got the lead. Not a whole lot of time left. What do you think, Charles?
Well, it's tempting to try and add to your lead, but a mistake there, that can change things in a big way. I say go ahead, take the knee, get on out for the half.
And he's got daylight. It's a foot race. He's at the 50. He's at the 30. And he takes it down deep into Green Bay territory. And now we won't see a play on 1st down. We're going to get a timeout instead, as they'll stop him with a little over 30 seconds to go in the 1st half of play. So talk about escaping danger from their own one, clear across the field now. They come up on 1st and 10. They keep it with Barkley on 1st down. And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line. It'll wind up being a loss of 2. And it'll be 2nd and 12.
I don't know about you, partner, but I'm rubbing my eyes after that play. Did we just see that runner not get yardage? A big-time play by the defense. It does happen occasionally, even against the best running backs who are having big days.
That is caught inside the 5. And he will score. Touchdown, Vikings. Stephon Diggs in the final seconds of the 1st half. And the Vikings find a way to stretch their lead.
And that's a lead that excites a team as they head into the half. Good way to finish things off.
Yeah, able to extend that lead, and you always say it, that can totally change the complexion of half number 2.
Yeah, it changes your morale, changes your outlook. But even before that, let's see if they decide to kind of squib kick or what they're going to do on the kickoff, because you don't want to give up a big play right before the half ends.
Good point. That'll be taken in the end zone. Likely time for one final snap as they start out 1st and 10. And with time running short here, they'll simply take a knee, and that should do it for half number 1. So we've reached halftime. All right, we will save the Week 1 highlights and apparently get right back to the action here in the 3rd. We'll see if Week 1 fatigue becomes any kind of a factor as we are back underway in the 2nd half. This is fielded a couple yards deep. Out come the Vikings. They'll have it first on offense as we begin the 3rd. They built a good 1st half lead. Now they have a chance to add on to it.
And what I'm thinking is that the offensive staff spent the entire halftime just working with them on.
And he can't find a receiver, and he's brought down.
They need to stop to get back into this game, and here's one right to start the third quarter.
Yeah, anytime you go into the lockers with that 2-3 score deficit, you're right. You need that stop, get the football back, and they've done just that.
Series to series, play to play.
Protection certainly going to need to be a bit better here on 2nd and 16. From the gun, it's Jackson. That's complete. He's got Barkley out of the backfield. And he'll get to the 29-yard line, brought down there. Give him 6 on the play, and that's going to make it 3rd down and 10. And just in general, Charles, on a play like that, how tough is it for the defense to account for a running back essentially being a receiver downfield?
It's very difficult, especially if the running back has skills like a receiver, and you're aware of.
Looking for Diggs, and it's intercepted. Picked up by Josh Jackson, and he'll bring this one back to the 29. First possession of the third quarter, an interception, so maybe a second-half tone setter.
Indeed, and not the tone they wanted to set. That's the equivalent of running out the wrong door and running into your pool instead of running out onto the field. A real dud for that one.
Has that happened to you before?
No.
Nowhere to turn here, and he's going to go down. Back at about the 37-yard line. Daniil Hunter able to disrupt yet another pass play. His 3rd sack of the afternoon. So 2nd and long, and got to be careful not to fall out of field goal range. Working from the gun. Rodgers under pressure again, and down he goes again. Daniil Hunter. Who else? He's in there for his 4th sack of the afternoon.
Well, it's apparent that these guys are getting after it right from the opening kickoff. They roll right downfield and score on their first possession. And here on defense, back-to-back sacks. Someone is ready to play.
And this is going to be incomplete. We saw this a lot in the first half, and it continues. These receivers just not able to get much separation.
So that means they have to win the 50-50 balls. They've got to go up with the defender and find a way to start coming down with them.
And this time, contact and another incomplete pass. And now out comes Minnesota. And both of these defenses have been stifling these last few drives offensively. Just not able to get anything going. So what needs to change?
I think a lot of the guys will go back and review, so to speak, because everyone has someone assigned to how did each play work. Okay, what did we use that kind of worked for us during this game? Try and get back to some of those plays, as well as the possibility of showing something you haven't shown already in this game and trying to change things up.
Let's see if they take the advice of Mr. Davis. That one good for 33 and a first.
I know that play went to the left side, and that's what it was designed to do, an outside handoff there. But how about the whole offensive line being involved? Seal the left side where the play was going, what they call play side. But how about on the back side? Just taking care of business to make sure no one can get there and disrupt it.
Is the biggest key the left tackle?
Without a doubt. Control that edge. Get out there. You want that left tackle. If you bring your tight end over there, either way, control the edge of the line of scrimmage, you got a chance to rumble. I call that play a success. A nice inside run sets up a very manageable 2nd down, a very solid gain on that play.
Now they'll run it on the toss. And he gets this inside the 35-yard line. It's a 10-yard pickup, and it moves the chains.
And he continues to pile up the yardage. That puts him over $150 now. And this defense has really had its problems trying to keep him contained.
First down, here's the run with Cook. And the second wave of tacklers is going to get him as they stop him behind the line. And after getting tackled, he's still down and looking very slow to get up. Hate to see this. Week 1 of the season. We'll be back.
Now let's go. Blue 90. Blue 90.
Now they'll run it on the toss. Give him 12 yards on that one. It earns him a fresh set of downs.
I think we're seeing the effect that runs like that are starting to have on this game. They're a little bit slower, that front 7, reacting to the football, almost like body blows in boxing, slowing them down, and they're really starting to take over in this game.
So a solid run by Saquon Barkley, and another 1st and 10 here.
Leopard.
Running game working. They'll stick with it on first down. And he'll at least get him inside the red zone here, down to about the 19. Give him 3 on first down. It'll set up a 2nd and 7. And third quarter here, you've got the lead. This is where that strong run game can really benefit you. Stayed in bounds there, kept the clock going.
I like all the points you just made there. And if you throw the football and it's incomplete, now you've stopped the clock and you've helped out the guys on the other side of the ball. So keep it in the hands of those runners. Keep moving it. Keep grinding clock.
And now Jackson will look to throw it. He's got his man. It's taken in for a Viking touchdown. As his guys are in for 6. And the Vikings are going to add on to their lead.
That drive that really increased their cushion felt very military to me. Very precise, methodical. That's one of the words you've taught me. And they just got it done.
And slowly but surely now starting to pull away a little bit. Things looking good for them here in the third quarter.
Not only pulling away, you mentioned that slowly but surely. You also drain clock, too, with a drive like that. So you really give yourself an advantage.
Carlson on for the PAT. Extra point by Carlson, up and good. And that'll make this a 3-score game now. The lead moves to 17. Carlson now to kick this one away. That's fielded in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. And Green Bay getting ready to go as they take the field. And down on the scoreboard, certainly needing to avoid what happened on the last drive, punting the football.
Sense of urgency has to take over for them here. They know the score. They know the situation. And by the way, the punter no longer exists for their offense. That's how they have to treat this drive.
They need points.
Big time.
First play of the drive going for 14 and also going for a first down.
Well, how many times do we say in this game that speed kills, and it does it in so many different ways? In this case, you got a back who's quick and shifty, can make moves, make people miss, but also gets to and through a hole before it can close down. That's some of the benefits of that speed, not just outrunning people in the secondary, and that led to a really nice game.
It's the Packers who have the football, but in need of points as we begin quarter number 4. So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10. On first down, Rodgers. The Vikings after him, and they get there for the sack. Linval Joseph in there to record another sack. Their 6th of the afternoon.
We've been around this league for a while, and many coaches never pull their starting quarterback, almost no matter the situation. In this case, though, I think he's got to make a decision. He's taking a pretty good beating out there.
Yeah, with the deficit, maybe not wanting to risk an injury. So that complicates things a bit here. 18 yards to go now on 2nd down. Throwing is Rodgers. And this is caught. It's Jimmy Graham. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. 23 yards on the play. You cannot write these guys off just yet, not with a quarterback like that under center.
You mean it actually crossed your mind with him running the team that you could actually maybe write this game off?
Not yet.
Not a chance. Not with him. We've seen it too many times.
That throw good for 4. It's 2nd down. You got the big lead defensively. Willing to give him that underneath stuff, right?
And this is why you work on your tackling. Tackle him after the catch, inbounds, keep the clock running. Just go ahead and bleed the game out that way.
And the stop here will come at the 38-yard line. 4 yards on the completion, and it sets up a 3rd down. One thing I think that's safe to say defensively, the tackling's been really good.
And because of that, it's been very, very hard for them to move.
And Rodgers is going to go down. He's sacked. Daniil Hunter in there to get him, and that's sack number 6 for him on the year.
This offensive line flat out cannot handle this pass rush. We've seen it demonstrated time and time again to the tune of 7 sacks in this game thus far.
58.
Now Rodgers got to have this one. Trying to get it to Adams, but it's intercepted. Picked off at the 22. And his guys are going to take over at the 21-yard line. this spot in the fourth quarter with that deficit, had to throw the football. Unfortunately, there's the risk of big turnover.
And you know you're going to be throwing against nickel, dime, all sorts of exotic defenses, but you have to do it anyway. Ordinarily, you might want to run the football a little bit, try and get them out of it. But as you noted, this time of the game, this point on the clock, had to throw it.
And the Vikings now heading onto the field. And now last drive so successful with the ground game, ending in a touchdown. Do you stick with that formula?
That would be the number one thing you would think of, but so many guys now would look at it and say, we've got them set up so well for play action, now's the time to take a shot.
Yeah.
But, you know, there was a big-time coach in the state of Ohio who once said, if you throw the ball, if you put it in the air, 3 things can happen, and 2 of them are bad.
Is that Woody
He would have
Hayes?
kept it on the ground.
First play of the drive goes the wrong way. Here's 2nd and 12. Here's the option going left on 2nd down. And he's going to get this one across the 30-yard line. 14 yards that time and a first down on the keeper.
Well, partner, for a few years there, we thought this read option play was going to take over the whole NFL. It seemed like everyone was using it. But it has been scaled back considerably in the last few seasons, mainly because people are worried about their quarterbacks getting hit. But when you call it at the right time and you use it properly, you see the type of gains you can get. A nice chunk of yardage there by the quarterback.
Give him 3 on the keeper there, and it is 2nd down. Time for a break. We'll come back and see this one out after this. So the Vikings in possession of the football as we get you reset. And you'd have to figure they're just looking to burn these final 2 minutes away and get out of here with a victory. They'll run it now out of the gun. And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line. Call it a loss of 2 on the play. And that'll lead here to a 3rd down. They'll try the option on 3rd down. And he went nowhere. Well, he went backwards, back to the 33. A loss of a yard, and it brings up 4th.
I don't think there's any doubt that if it's me, I'd be really cautious about continuing to call this play because you got to know, defenders, if they get a free shot at the QB, they want to take it, and they want to take it big.
And they got it there on the option play for a loss. 4th down, here's Jackson. That's to his running back, complete. And he's not able to get away. He is stopped well short of a first down. So we were looking at each other up here in the booth when they went for that saying, oh, wow. Talk about trying to add insult to injury.
Some teams are just like that. You know, some philosophies, some coaches are like, look, when I got a chance to put some more points on the board, I don't care what the situation, I'm going to do it. And they're also the same coaches as a general rule that if someone does it to them, you won't hear people protest out of them. That's just who they are.
This will be a 2-yard loss on the play. And that'll make it 2nd and 12. From the gun, it's Rodgers. Now look out, Rodgers lost the football. And this belongs to the Vikings.
And with that kind of a deficit, you can't afford to make any kind of mistakes. But it's been pretty symptomatic of what we've seen all game with them, isn't it? Down this big in the fourth quarter.
You'd say an afternoon to forget, absolutely. And now out comes Minnesota. The drive will start with an option going left. And he probably should have given that one off as he's going to get hit and taken down behind the line.
And on this play, the read for the quarterback was the defensive end, and he was totally focused on the quarterback. He should have given it off inside to the running back. Instead, he kept it and ended up taking a loss on the play.
He'll get 2 on the keeper, but it becomes now a 3rd down.
Anytime you decide to use your quarterback as a runner, most of the time when you design a play, you're expected to break a little bit bigger than this one because when you run him on short gains, your risk-reward and him taking hits, I'm not sure that's the payoff they were looking for.
Throwing on 3rd and long. Jackson. And he's able to find Diggs. And one of the whistles for a timeout. So they'll stop the clock here in a game that's been decided in the closing seconds. This quarterback now 5 straight completions here in this second half. 1st and 10.
Watch him now, Barney.
Oh, Jackson's going to throw it. He's going to fire one deep, middle of the field. And it pops free. The collision there jarred the ball loose and brings up second down. Despite the lead here in the fourth, they're still taking shots.
Not content to sit on this lead at all. And to me, it raises the question of what's right in this game nowadays. Do you sit on the ball and run it because you have enough of a lead? Or do you try and extend it because you always feel like the other team can come back?
Extend it. Have some fun. Line of scrimmage, the 31 as they line up, 2nd and 10.
Here we go now.
2nd and 10. Here's Jackson again. Going deep downfield for Ross. And partner, this first week, this first game that we get to call together, so special every year, week one. You had the flyover, the big American flag out there before the game, all the hoopla, just having football back, so special.
It is an opening day, opening game. There's just nothing like it because you really build to a crescendo. But the best part for us is that crescendo lasts for a while. Opening game here, an entire season. We get into the playoffs, to the Super Bowl. I was really excited. I could barely sleep last night.